A panicked motorcyclist stops at a filling station and immediately calls Dr. Hero Martins using a public telephone. At that time, Martins is in Italy. The motorcyclist desperately pleads for her help, saying that something must be stopped immediately. He explains that something has escaped from one of NASA's tanks and has already killed everyone at the location. However, just as he is about to reveal the exact location, the phone connection is suddenly cut off. 27 hours later, Martins arrives at the area. There, she meets Officer Robert Quinn and another officer named Trini. Trini is confused because she believed Skylab had crashed years ago, making it hard to understand how it could still be causing problems now. Martins explains that along with one of the tanks, there is a parasitic organism capable of adapting to almost any environmental condition. The organism is suspected to have fallen in this area together with its storage container. She also notes that since arriving, they have seen no signs of human activity around the nearby houses. The three of them put on hazmat suits, turn on their body cameras, and begin to search the area. They check several houses but find no one. Moving further, Martins spots the fallen tank and immediately warns the others to keep their distance. Martins begins to examine the container using her equipment, while Robert suggests securing the perimeter to prevent anyone from approaching. From her observations, Martins realizes that the organism is developing at an incredible speed. Meanwhile, Trini discovers a human corpse. When Robert and Martins climb up to examine it, the organism unknowingly attaches itself to Martins' shoe and begins to seep inside. Once they reach the top, they find the victim's body severely destroyed, looking as if it had exploded from within. They also see several other bodies scattered across the roof. Martins explains that the pattern is similar to a dangerous fungal infection that takes over a host's body, grows inside, and then destroys it from within. Suddenly, the head of one of the bodies explodes, prompting them to leave the site immediately. Before departing, Martins stops for a moment to collect a sample. It is then that the organism on her foot manages to penetrate through her heel and enter her bloodstream. On the way back, Martins begins to feel strange symptoms and slowly loses consciousness. Robert realizes something is wrong as the infection spreads rapidly and begins to affect Martins' nervous system. Suddenly, Martins runs toward the vehicle and tries to hit Trini, but Robert manages to block her. Martins then seizes Trini's weapon and points it at them. In a moment of panic, Martins makes a drastic decision and shoots herself. Shortly after the incident, the military arrives and takes the samples to a secure facility in Atchison, Kansas. The samples are moved to an underground research facility built inside a mine. Scientists then carefully extract the organism and store it in a special cold room along with other samples. Years pass until military security at the site is finally withdrawn. Elsewhere, Travis is seen driving to his workplace, which now serves as a storage warehouse in the same area. His colleague, Griffin, who works the night shift, tries to persuade Travis to join his plan to steal some of the stored goods. Griffin claims he cannot do it alone without Travis's help before eventually leaving the premises. Shortly after, an elderly woman named Annie arrives to retrieve some items from her storage unit. She mentions to Travis that it is her wedding anniversary. Travis directs her to the storage area via the elevator. Once downstairs, Annie becomes emotional as she looks at a photograph of her late husband. She takes out her husband's pistol and considers ending her life, but she hesitates and eventually changes her mind. She puts on her husband's jacket and falls asleep in the storage unit. Meanwhile, Travis is listening to music through his headphones when he thinks he hears an unusual sound. He goes out to investigate but finds nothing. He then contacts Naomi through the microphone and asks her to help check the area. Naomi also searches for the source of the noise, but the results are the same. During their conversation, Travis introduces himself using the nickname Tea Cake and continues to talk incessantly until Naomi realizes the name is taken from a famous book. At the same time, Naomi receives a phone call that clearly irritates her. After the call ends, she introduces herself to Travis and notices a tattoo on his hand. At that exact moment, Naomi also begins to hear the same mysterious sound. Meanwhile, in North Carolina, Robert is awakened by a phone call. During the conversation, the caller references the events that occurred in 1979. Back at the warehouse, Travis and Naomi hear a noise that seems to be coming from behind one of the walls. Travis intends to tear down that section of the wall to see what is hidden behind it. Naomi agrees and even offers to help repair the wall afterward. In another location, Robert receives a call from a member of his security team. A sudden change in the weather reminds him of an old threat. He explains that since 2007, he has written several reports and warnings about this issue, but they were never taken seriously. When he learns that the latest warning signal appeared a few hours ago, he realizes the situation is urgent. Robert says he is near Seymour Johnson and can arrive in about an hour and a half, but certain preparations must be made immediately. He emphasizes that this is not a typical emergency, but a dangerous threat that can spread rapidly and can only be handled with specific equipment and authorization. During the call, a woman named Abigail is mentioned. Robert reminds her that they have sacrificed a lot in their personal lives for their duty to the country. Abigail finally agrees and begins to prepare everything Robert requested. Meanwhile, Travis and Naomi successfully open the wall and discover a room filled with various equipment that appears to be used for controlling the systems in the area. Naomi seems to understand the function of these tools quite well, which leaves Travis impressed. They also find maps and realize that the place was formerly a military facility. Naomi becomes increasingly enthusiastic upon discovering the existence of a laboratory on the lower levels and tries to convince Travis to explore it. Travis initially agrees just to stay relaxed. However, after leaving the room, he admits that he often says yes in conversations without thinking, which usually leads him into trouble. He asks for time to consider the plan since they would have to descend into the bunker. After preparing themselves, they get ready to enter the underground area. A car briefly stops by to check the shop before driving away in frustration. Once the situation is safe again, Travis and Naomi head down and enter the basement. Suddenly, warning lights begin to flash, but the two of them continue forward. Inside, they find protective gear and various electronic devices scattered around the room. While inspecting the protective gear, they find a large hole in the floor with a long ladder leading further down. Travis decides to go down first, and Naomi follows shortly after. At the same time, outside the facility, Naomi's ex-husband calls her with a suspicious tone. He mentions that something strange is happening with his car and plans to come to Naomi's location. When he checks the trunk, he is shocked to find the cat he had previously shot. However, the animal's body is now covered in fungal growth. Shortly after, something horrific happens. The cat climbs to a high point and pierces its head onto an antenna before its body splits open from the top. Fluids from its body drip on the man and the surrounding environment, causing the infection to spread to other living creatures that come into contact with it. Meanwhile, underground, Travis and Naomi continue walking through the corridors. During their journey, Travis learns that Naomi is a mother. They eventually find a door with a warning that access is restricted to authorized personnel only. Despite this, Travis opens it. Behind the door lies a dark and cold area which serves as a low-temperature storage facility. Inside, they find another room filled with rats that have been infected by the fungus. The condition of the rats is abnormal, making Travis feel very uneasy. Naomi then notices another area where the fungus has spread extensively across the surface. She starts to reach out to touch it, but Travis quickly stops her, and they decide to leave the place immediately. Outside, Naomi's ex-husband is now completely under the influence of the organism. His nervous system and body appear to be controlled by the infection as he takes a weapon from his car and begins walking toward the shop. At the same time, an infected deer also begins moving in the same direction. Elsewhere, Robert is on a plane watching old footage of the moment Dr. Martins was first infected. He is currently on his way to the location prepared by Abigail. During their conversation, Robert learns that Abigail's former boss passed away about a year and a half ago. Her new superior had previously asked Robert to cancel his mission because they believed the samples were secure. However, Robert explains that changes in environmental conditions and the climate have triggered the regrowth of the organism. Later, Abigail contacts Robert privately. Robert explains that standard communication is not secure, so he must use an alternative method. He also asks Abigail to contact someone named Trini who can assist them. When her boss arrives, Abigail pretends to be speaking with her family. Back at the underground facility, Naomi finds clues that the site was previously under the control of a specific military unit. Just then, she sees a deer moving unnaturally near the stairs and follows it until the animal enters an elevator. It is revealed that the infection has been spreading gradually. Hours earlier, the organism infected an insect which then passed it to a rat. Another insect that died near Naomi's husband's car became the source of infection for the cat inside the vehicle. Realizing the situation is becoming increasingly dangerous, Naomi and Travis attempt to leave the area. Suddenly, an infected deer appears and attacks them before its body abruptly disintegrates. Shortly after, Naomi's ex-husband arrives. Based on his behavior, Naomi immediately realizes that he has also been infected. The man admits to killing their cat and begins firing at them. Meanwhile, Annie, who had been sleeping earlier, finally wakes up. Naomi and Travis try to escape and enter the storage locker area to hide. As they try to evade him, they nearly come face to face with the infected man. In a desperate moment, Travis opens one of the storage units and both of them climb inside. However, the door cannot close completely, so they must remain silent and hope they are not discovered. A few moments later, the sound of something falling is heard outside. Before they can confirm what happened, Travis takes the opportunity and prepares to move. As they try to leave their hiding spot, Travis accidentally knocks over several items. The loud noise immediately draws the attention of Naomi's husband, who approaches and nearly opens the storage door. Fortunately, Travis and Naomi quickly hold it shut from the inside. In another location, Robert finally meets with Trini. She explains that they still need to retrieve one last piece of equipment known as the 7th item before continuing their journey. The two of them then set off to collect it. Meanwhile, Abigail informs Robert about an emergency call from Naomi. She patches Naomi into the conversation, where Naomi describes the dire situation they are facing, including the spread of the fungus, the infected deer, and the condition of her ex-husband. Robert immediately warns them to stay where they are, avoid contacting anyone else, and strictly refrain from touching the organism. Naomi notes that the situation seems like an outbreak that will continue to grow and spread if it is not stopped immediately. Shortly after, the sound of a vehicle is heard above. At first, they hope that help has arrived, but Travis realizes that it is not the military. Instead, it is Griffin and his group who have come to loot the shop. The group enters and finds the carcass of the infected deer. Griffin becomes suspicious, believing Travis has been hiding goods for himself. They head down to the storage area to take televisions and other electronics, though one of the members begins to feel that something is wrong.
On the other side, Robert and Trini arrive at Trini's son's house to get the final piece of equipment. The item is found inside a chest. However, before they can leave, Trini's son, Anthony, wakes up and points a gun at them, confused by a situation that was never explained to him. Outside the house, Trini finally hands the car keys to Robert and decides not to go any further. She explains that her previous experience nearly cost her life and that she is still traumatized by what happened to Dr. Martens. Back at the cold storage facility, Travis wants to go upstairs to warn the others, but Naomi initially disagrees. Travis explains that he does not want to lose his job or have his life fall apart again. Moved by his honesty, Naomi finally supports his decision. Upstairs, the looters are busy loading goods, while Naomi's infected ex-husband wanders toward them. They initially think he is just sick, but he suddenly vomits fluid toward them and slams a nearby locker door. Just as he is about to attack Travis and Naomi, Annie appears and shoots him. A moment later, the man's body disintegrates due to the advanced state of the infection. Meanwhile, Robert contacts Abigail and warns her that a storm is approaching. He explains that if the organism comes into contact with rainwater, its spread could become much faster. Because of this, Robert requests access to an airstrip. Abigail says she might be able to ask someone she knows for help. Robert also emphasizes the vital importance of detecting everyone who has already been infected. At the same time, one of Griffin's group members abandons him. Left alone and desperate, Griffin points his weapon at Travis. Suddenly, a strange noise comes from inside a locker. Griffin forces Travis to open it, threatening to shoot if he refuses. Just as Travis reaches for the handle, Naomi attacks Griffin with a fire extinguisher. Taking advantage of the distraction, Travis and Naomi flee outside, where they finally meet Robert. Below them, Griffin returns to retrieve his keys.
Robert quickly explains his plan. He tells them that they are now a team and provides them with full protective suits. He reveals an explosive device that will be used to destroy the underground facility and stop the spread at its source. According to his calculations, they will have only 9 to 16 minutes to escape once the bombs are set. He also explains that they must contain the infected organisms in the upper area to prevent them from spreading further. Meanwhile, infected victims begin to emerge from the depths. One person falls into an area covered in fungus and is instantly infected, while others are killed in the initial blasts. Naomi and Travis put on their protective gear and head back down to set the explosives. Outside, Robert disables the vehicles to ensure no one can escape the containment zone. When an infected victim appears, Abigail assists Robert through thermal camera monitoring, allowing him to neutralize the threat immediately. Underground, Travis and Naomi return to the source and begin planting the bombs. Meanwhile, Griffin struggles to survive as more infected creatures appear outside. Robert finds it difficult to move due to a back injury. To block the approaching threat, he shoots a motorcycle, causing an explosion that creates a temporary barrier. In the lower section of the facility, Travis and Naomi enter a room and find that almost the entire area is covered in growth. They realize that if they do not stop it now, the infection will reach the nearby river and contaminate the water supply. Without wasting a second, they prime the explosives and rush back toward the surface. On the surface, conditions grow worse. The body of an infected victim suddenly splits open and the organism begins to move toward Robert. In this critical moment, Robert neutralizes the victim before the infection can spread. Underground, time is running out for Travis and Naomi. They originally had several minutes to escape, but due to a system malfunction, the countdown suddenly drops to only 1 minute. In another area, Griffin tries to evade Robert by moving silently. After escaping the immediate danger, Griffin intends to attack Robert. At that exact moment, Trini arrives on the scene and stops Griffin before he can act. Simultaneously, Travis and Naomi manage to reach the surface. However, they are confronted by an infected woman, and Naomi is forced to take her down. The two then join Robert and Trini. They quickly help Robert into the vehicle and drive away as fast as possible. Shortly after, time runs out. A massive explosion shakes the area, destroying the shop and the entire underground facility beneath it. The ground begins to collapse around them, but Naomi keeps driving until they are clear of the danger zone. A massive crater is formed at the site of the explosion, while Abigail watches from a distance. Following the incident, the media pressures authorities for an explanation. Not long after, Abigail meets Robert in person. She reveals that her real name is Ishani and thanks him for helping her find her purpose in life again. Elsewhere, life begins to move forward. Travis spends his time with Naomi and finally tells her the true story behind his nickname.